This is what we need to do. This is going to bring that school to the next level.
That's Thinkering. This Thinkering process is going to be really transformational to all subjects that we're talking about.
The value of the Alliance is it's a thinking collective. Now we have a greater understanding amongst everyone. And that's not what's common in schools.
I always tell our students this can set you apart, make you stand out, something to remember you by. It's an opportunity to share. It's win-win all around.
I think the biggest part of what we do are the humans that we work with on the other side of that, right? Really see the human impact, the way that they're interacting and working with their community.
It really does have to flip. You should be able to think about that as your hero's journey, to be able to know this is how I was able to overcome.
And they really have this drive to want change. And I feel like continuing that mission is really important.
I love that stuff. So, you know, whether it's actual donating goods, which don't get me wrong, it's amazing, or just people, normal community members donating time to make a 15-second TikTok-esque video shouting out students being successful, or getting a little video of what their job's like and how it applies to their role. That's how we bring education full circle. That's how we see our students enriching the community and our community enriching our schools. And I love that stuff. So anytime anyone wants to talk about that, let me know. Even at teachersdeserveit.com, we have so many like warning labels and like tools where like, if you're a teacher, don't pay for this. If you're a teacher, let us help you get the money for what you're going to get in our learning hub or whatever. I'm like, if I see a teacher use their own personal credit card, I'm coming after you.
We know the doing is so much more important than listening, and the Teach Further model, I think, really encompasses doing and participating. What's a moment from it that you've seen that made you think like, oh, this is what education should feel like?
Oof. I got two. Okay, I have two examples. They're very different. Let's go with the first one. I wrote about this in one of my books, so I guess I don't know if somebody's heard this before, but my first year teaching, I was in essentially the middle of nowhere teaching. I just literally took any job and I was like, that's it. I want my job. And they were stupid enough to give me my own classroom. Like, amazing. And my first sponsor when I was developing this lesson plan structure was Pizza Hut. And it was Pizza Hut because that was the only like place in the town that wasn't a gas station. And I went in and I talked to the manager and they thought I was crazy and that was okay. And we did a Pizza Hut unit, which eventually evolved into a really special unit that I used my entire teaching career with a few different sponsors. But the whole point of the lesson was great. Students loved it. And at the very end, every student that participated, I had about 168 students, everyone got a business card of the Pizza Hut, owner, manager, whatever. And we kind of collected business cards. That was a part of the year. The students were able to leave with 25 different business cards of organizations they had essentially interned for. And I got an email 6 years later, maybe. I had moved schools. I'd gotten married. My name had changed. Like, I don't know how this kid hunted me down, but he was a struggling learner, to say the least. He was in and out of my room twice. That's generous. Let's maybe more than twice. We'll go with twice that year to take some time in juvie. And he was kind of a student that you just feel like you didn't do enough for, like at the end of the year, you're like, I did good, but I could have done more for him. And anyway, since he had seen me, he obviously went to a few more years of school. He dropped out. He moved out of his parents' home and was kind of on his own, walked into Pizza Hut and went to the manager. I don't know how he still had the card. He said when he was moving out of his childhood house, he was like, I found the random like card that we had. And he was like, hey, you don't remember me. I was an intern here in my 6th grade math classroom. I need a job. And they hired him. And that to me, there's a lot there that you could analyze and say, oh, it's such a better story if, or, oh, it could have been such a bigger impact if. But to have him reach out to me and say, hey, thanks for the business card. Thanks for the connection. I knew how to go in and stand up straight. And I knew how to say, like, I have a connection here and I need a job. And he was like, I remembered the handshake you taught me. Like, that's why I do my work. That fuels me a lot.
That's an awesome story. And, the impact is somebody just, getting a job at Pizza Hut. Okay, that's great. But it tells you from his end, from their end, where to track somebody down through name changes and different jobs and just to say thank you. I know it means the world to them to put that time and effort in. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really good feel good. And I've had a lot of students, reach out since. I like to tell my students that story, and sometimes they come back and they're like, "Ooh, I want to add to the list. I did this." Obviously I'm in 6th grade, so it takes a while for them to age into those things, but for I have a student that got an internship in architecture and used my mom as a mentor. And I'm like, "What?" Like, how do you know my mom? Like, the whole thing, everything's very weird, and networking's an art, and we can teach our students the better.
Yeah, I think there's a missing piece there with networking, looking at future careers. And, it's not just IT. IT has 50 jobs under it. And you really tapping into that to figure out what your passion is, which then can dictate your learning path. And we're missing something there.
So that was something we had to implement. It's funny you say that. At the end of the unit, we do this like wrap up. And the first few times we were practicing this model, especially because a few teachers had then started doing it. So we were kind of all testing different things out. It almost felt like there was a hard shift between like, we do this whole unit as a Pizza Hut employee, and then surprise, now you're a doctor, right? It was like a little too like choppy. And so we developed a kind of like final bow on top, which was this transition of ownership. And it allowed the teacher to take a moment, 10 minutes, doesn't have to be long, and do a little bit of a characteristic balance with the students to say, okay, you just worked at Pizza Hut. What did you like and what did you hate? And like, I hated working with food. Okay, cool. So like, you're not probably going to go into the food industry, but I really liked customer service. I really liked talking to the customers, or I really liked calculating the bill, or I really liked, the designing how the restaurant was going to look. Okay, so what jobs do that? And how much schooling do you need? Because to interact with customers and customer service, first of all, that's something that exists in almost every field. Every field needs someone like that. And if you know you're good at it, then that's a characteristic that you can identify and say, I know I can do that. I'm going to keep leaning into that. Or if you're thinking, gosh, I really like other elements, you can kind of slowly identify those pieces that build up what you actually want to do, and exposing students to how much schooling that takes, that allows them to think about, even in a 3rd grade classroom, gosh, every single thing I really like has a master's degree or a doctorate degree. That's really good to know. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but identifying things you're good at and identifying kind of where you want to take that early on is a beautiful growth opportunity for students.
Absolutely. Once I found out that there's a thing called discrete mathematics that deals with imaginary numbers, I quickly switched my major. Wish I'd known about that from the start.
Yeah, right? Always. It's really good when people tell you things.
Yeah. So I went to a really, really useful bachelor's in political science. So,
Well, we've all made those fun little choices.
yeah. So I think one of the key things that Teachers Deserve It speaks to when I first stumble upon it is just the recognition that teachers can't do this work alone, and their system needs to be supportive. The students, the parents, the other administrators and educators around them. What's something that teachers can do themselves, that one big thing that's going to make just the impact right off the bat, that they don't have to worry about working with other people's fences and frameworks? They can just go at it and help themselves. What's that one thing?
Yeah, friends, if you're listening and you need like the one quick fix, I'm going to like burst your bubble that there isn't one quick fix, but there are like a ton of them. And if you could get access to all of them, then you could pick and choose. So some really popular ones are the automated email that we talked about. If you're interested in that, we have a free download to walk through the entire thing. We obviously have the course too, but it's just a way to control your inbox, take some of the stress off of opening your email, and help you be intentional with what you actually need to say versus what can be done without you truly engaging too much, using too much of your brain power. Another silly one is every educator has some sort of teacher-student interaction, whether it be a conference or something else. We collected over 80 studies that showed that if students and teachers just did their discussion, did their conference standing on their feet, they would be 33% more efficient and effective. That is so easy to do. right? It just, when you, rather than pulling all the students to the back kidney table and grabbing a seat, when you see their energy go whoosh and you have this big transition, can we still use the same table? We don't have to get rid of our furniture, but keep our feet on the floor. And, the energy that comes from that, it will make you so much more effective in the classroom and allow those conversations to happen more often because you'll have more time to dedicate to those personalized opportunities for feedback. And we have a ton of little things like that where educators don't have to necessarily take on a big lift. These are small little shifts, but you put them together and now you're saving oodles of time to be able to do the things you want to do.
You said somebody had saved 5 hours earlier. I just thought to myself, I mean, if you're a really, really efficient worker, I mean, yeah, that's a full work day's worth of work that you can get done. Or if you want to work that 10-hour shift, that's a half day of work that, I mean, that's an amazing amount of time. And when you think about the teacher who stumbles upon that free time they've now discovered, what do they use that for? Is it best used for personal care and reflection, getting back into the classroom and using that time better there? What do teachers need to spend that free time on?
I think the beauty of it is that they get to choose. And I think that it's not about having the right answer. It's about being able to give choice back to educators who feel like every single component of their job is dictated for them. And all those dictations that most educators are upset about, like mandated policies and cookie cutter curriculums, it all comes from a space of fear. It all comes from people looking at educators who are taking care of the most prized possession of so many parents and saying, okay, wait, what if they're not good at their job? Let's do this. And that will help some of the fear. And the reality is as educators, we have the power to start easing that fear, and we can start just here all together. An easy thing that if you don't have any capacity to do anything today, one easy lift: go hang up your credentials in your classroom. Go put somewhere, whether it be on a shelf, a wall. Dedicate the time you want, but take a little what have you done that make you kind of the credentialed educator that you are? You have an undergraduate degree, you have a master's degree, you have a Google certification, maybe you took a course in the Learning Hub and got a certificate, you won an awesome teacher award that some student handed to you on a printed out piece of paper. Those things are good to have up because you may forget about it, right? By next week, you won't even remember that you did it. But every single student and every single parent and every single administrator and every single paraprofessional that walks into your room is going to have the opportunity during any moment of fear saying, ugh, is this classroom running well? Can look and say, wow, this teacher, wow, they've done a lot to ensure that they're good in their field. I might even ask a question about it. And that's a win.
It sounds like self-care is important, but systematic care from the administrators and other educators, parents who are involved is just as important. What's something that educators can do kind of to not necessarily push over, but push back at those fences that try to box them in and to give themselves some more empowerment?
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that. I do feel as though sometimes we are being reactive and not proactive. And the example of hanging up degrees is a proactive approach versus saying, I have 5 hours, so I'm going to sleep for 5 hours. That's reactive. Neither are bad, but we will get more bang for our buck if we can aim to be proactive with the time that we're saving and set up good systems. I think when it comes to pushing back, it really comes to, okay, this is going to come out messy, but work with me here. My dad, who's an incredible businessman, I love learning from him. We are notorious for late night sitting over adult beverages and, having conversation for hours. He has a Post-it note on his computer that says, speak to the issue. And I saw it as a kid every single day. I walked by his computer in his home office or whatever. I think that's something that educators maybe need to take a step back and do. So many times as educators, we're on the defense. We feel like we need to be defensive. We feel like the person coming to us already is upset or disappointed. And naturally, as service leaders, we don't want anyone to be upset with us. We just want to do our job well. And we believe we're doing it well because we stay up late and we think about it and we want to just be told that we're awesome. And I think if educators are feeling as though they have a lot of restrictions on them, the first thing to be reflective on is what's the actual issue? Because like I noted earlier, The restrictions were a byproduct of a problem. There was no rules or restrictions that were created because that wasn't an issue and someone just decided to put the sign up. That's like the joke where you walk around, you see signs sometimes and you're like, something caused somebody to put that sign up, right? Like caution hot means that a lot of people touched it first, right? So how as teachers can we be better not reacting but thinking about, why are they requiring this boxed curriculum? Why are they requiring us to say 15 minutes after the buses leave? It's really frustrating, but why? And there's a reason, and being able to be understanding to that and then speak to the issue in our proactive approach to maybe enact change is a great first step.
Yeah, like the positivity in it all. It's so easy to just complain about a situation. It's really hard to champion yourself and other people out of it, but that's always the winning approach. If, let's say, every teacher on earth got a hold of you, realized that they do deserve it, they enacted your strategies, and now they're feeling seen, supported, valued, heard, what does that do to our education system?
Think so much. And I almost love that I don't have to know because there are so many smarter people out there than me. Isn't that the beauty? Like, if all that happened, right? Holy moly, that would be literally the dream. I'd be living on cloud nine. I think there'd be so much more problem solving and there'd be so many more opportunities for change to happen that I don't know the answer. But I sure know that when you put great minds together, an answer is going to come, and I can't wait to see it. So I think that the real impact is happier people, and then the long-term effect could be enormous for our students, which is what I care about.
What's the most underrated strategy that teachers aren't employing?
Underrated strategy. That's such a good one. Okay, I'm going to say this, but I think it may not be underrated. I think I thought it was underrated. So there might be people out there that are like, Rae, that's like something everyone talks about. And I'd be like, I thought it was dumb. Okay, a morning routine. I know everyone says it, but a morning routine is huge. And I thought that was like the most annoying self-care strategy. I'm like, yeah, morning routine, sure. Mornings are chaotic. Like whatever. I've developed a morning routine that I'm using. Thankfully, we actually have a podcast sponsor, Shaklee, Shalkee. They sponsor our podcast. If you guys want to listen to it, it's called Teachers Deserve It Real Talk. And they sent me some like little packets to try. They do like protein smoothies and whatever. And so they sent me the stuff. And I am addicted. Like, I don't know what's in this stuff, but I wake up craving my morning. I don't know what it is, like a shake, whatever it is. My morning thing, whatever the orange packet is, I wake up so excited. It makes my whole day. Well, Jim, I'm not responsible and I forgot to reorder my order. And this week I ran out on Monday and the shipment's coming tomorrow, but I've had 3 days without this morning thing. It has screwed up my week and I have felt tired. I mean, okay, today that we're recording this is my birthday and I'm like, today sucked because I didn't have my shake. And I just have to say, get something in your morning that you really love and make it a part of your routine, because I don't know why I'm such a Shaklee advocate for this stupid morning orange packet, but I love starting the day with something that I really, really like. And, it makes me feel good. I don't know. It's a great start to my day.
Yeah, I read a book. I forget what it's called, like Sunday Scaries or something. It was about starting off your Monday and you spend a Sunday just all stressed. And I started doing the morning routine and getting ready for the week, and it really changed my life. I'm a big fan of the morning routine, but the downside is when it doesn't happen, boy, does it throw things off.
I know, it's almost like I don't want to recommend people to have a morning routine because the day that you forget to reorder, I like set up myself to have a crappy day on Tuesday. Like, that sucks. But the order is coming, and Friday, let me tell you, I'm getting that stupid shake.
All right, so nobody reach out to Rae until Friday.
Yeah, exactly. I am a no-go. I'm not around. I'm no fun.
So Thinkering Collective and you all have a similar moonshot goal in mind of touching 1 million students and ensuring that they get connected and empowered. What's the plan to hit that number, and what does that number really represent?
I have a lot of really fancy, smart people I work with who tell me I need certain goals and I can't just shoot darts at a wall. So we came up with 1 million teachers because we started to calculate how many teachers were in the US and what are we aspiring to, right? It's okay to have a goal and have it only impact 10 people if 10 people is your goal, right? There are so many businesses out there that I've even seen where because they don't know how big their impact should be or they want it to be, they always feel like they have to be bigger. And I don't know that that's true. I think that as you're setting goals personally, you can set a goal to lose 5 pounds. You don't have to set a goal to lose 30. 30 may not be the dream. It might just be 5. So for us, we knew we wanted to impact, 10% or whatever it was of educators. Our hope was truly if we impacted 1 million educators, that those 1 million educators would then have a friend who maybe wasn't connected to Teachers Deserve It, and they'd share a strategy, and maybe it would percolate into even more educators that we could impact. So our mission right now is word of mouth. We do a lot of social media posts. We have, a growing email list of strategies, and we put out new course bundles every single month. So we really try and be responsive for educators. We listen to our community. That's a big thing I've learned is there is no reason for me to think of an idea. Our community knows what they want. They just need to be asked what they want, and then we can create it. And I love that model. So I know we'll hit our goal. I'm so excited to hit our goal. We're not quite there yet, but it's only March, so we have some time. And, it's really about awareness. If we can bring some strategies to educators to help them save 5 minutes a week or 5 hours a week, I'll be a happy camper.
You're doing the work you do because you obviously believe in the power of education and the importance of learning journeys. What keeps you going?
I will say one element of my job now as the CEO and co-founder of Teachers Deserve It is I get to see a lot of fruits of my labor. I have a lot of teachers that say thank you and tell me what's going on and tell me the impact of a certain product or tell me what they're looking for, and then we give it to them and they tell me how it went. I think that keeps me going. I love that part. I love seeing the fruits of our labor. And it's something educators don't get very often, especially teachers and just the mainstream public education system. So the appreciation for the fruits of our labor is great. I love that stuff.
We will put links in the description, but what's the best way for an educator to get a hold of you who wants that empowerment and those strategies that you all are working to provide?
Yeah, friends, I'd love to connect. You can follow me on social. It's just at Rae Hughart everywhere. I think it's at Rae Hughart EDU on TikTok, sorry. Which is funny because, by the way, I own the at Rae Hughart on TikTok. I just can't log into it. So then I created a second one. But anyway, I would love to connect with you, but more importantly, go connect with our team. The team's the one doing the good stuff. So head over to Teachers Deserve It on any social media platform, or you can go to teachersdeserveit.com. You can access our blogs and our podcasts and the free tools and our Learning Hub. And the Learning Hub is where all the action's happening. That's where we do the office hours every week. That's where we have just the oodles of support. And there's a 3-day free trial. So if money's tight or you haven't figured out how to cover the expense, at least do the 3-day free trial and steal everything and then cancel your membership. There's a lot of good stuff there, and we hope it helps.
You heard it right there from the CEO.
I
Feel it all.
say it on every podcast, and I get a note from my CFO every time.
Sounds like a good CFO.
Oh, really? I'm just impressed that he's listening to the podcast episodes I do.
Yeah, I can't even get our listeners to do that. Rae, we appreciate you sharing with us your journey, and to everybody listening, we'll put the links in the bottom of the description where you can go find Rae, learn more about Teachers Deserve It, and get in contact with her and her team. Until then, keep laughing, keep creating, and most importantly, keep thinking.
Love the term thinkering, and we'll definitely use it in my classroom. The kids will love it.
This is where we can be that peer support network with each other. When the big picture clicks, it's beautiful when you get administrators and teachers together.
You can't be a leader of other people if you can't first lead yourself, right?
Helps the educator have a very clear and structured framework.
Becomes this real community hub. If you're a great educator, you're looking for the most powerful moment. Can we inspire kids to believe that the world needs who they were made to be?
I hope you guys continue to uphold that legacy and continue, finding kids like you.